All right, how about it, y'all? You got Hog. Let's talk about Diablo 4 Pulverized Druid. Now, a lot of y'all are running this. It's really this or the Storm Wolf. So I finally got this bad boy running. There are a couple different ways to actually get it functional. And of course, I made a lot of mistakes and really crippled myself. So hopefully, I'll be able to point some of those mistakes out and you don't make them. So you just saw it clears pretty fast. You're going to stay in Grizzly Rage as much as you possibly can. And you've got the Shockwave aspect for Pulverize, which shoots it out in a straight line like that. You've also got the aspect that makes it an Earth skill, which gives it them little pillars that come out of the ground. So it's really awesome. You can really reach out and touch folks. And when you pair it with a group, it's cool too because sorceress or rogue with poison or anything like that, you can actually synergize off all that and get some really cool damage boosts coming out of there. But anyway, let's take a look at the build. Really, the only unique that you absolutely have to have is Vassal's Prayer, and this one makes your Earth skills Werebear skills, and they fortify you. Of course, this is the lowest roll you can get, but what this does is when you go into Grizzly Rage mode here, it allows you to cast Earthen Bulwark and your Earth Spike, which usually you could not do because they're not bear skills. You can only use bear skills in werebear form unless you have some kind of modifier aspect. Okay, the next one down is when you have fortify your earth skills gain +2 ranks. What you're going to see is a bug right here. Earth skills gain +0 ranks from fortify. We have fortify active. Let's make sure we don't lose it here. Ability skill tree. Our earth skills, it is active. 3 right here. If we take this off, it's down to 1. So even though that's bugged out, it is still working. That's something that's really bothering me because, if you're looking at your tooltip, I should see +2 ranks here, not +0. But anyway, that's what you want there. It's going to increase your pulverize because it is now an earth skill. We're going to take gloves. Pulverize is now an earth skill. That's a big one. After casting pulverize, you see those tectonic spikes come out of the ground. Now your pants, you're kind of free to pick what you want. A lot of guys are running telemetry. Those are unique pants. I haven't found those yet, so I don't get to run them, but I'm running this aspect. Gain 0.5% increased armor for 4 seconds when you deal any form of damage, stacking up to 50%. So it's extra armor to keep you alive. The boots, I've got damage from earth skills slow. Okay, whatever the number is, it really doesn't matter. What you're looking to do is every time you cast this shockwave, you're wanting to slow those enemies that get hit by that shockwave. So taking that, and then we're going to take two-handed axe. Now this one's going to kind of be, I'll show you this one. It's a little bit better. You really want to pay attention to your stats. The reason that we're going axe, shout out to DM. I like the way he's doing it, so I kind of copied that too to go axe. If you look at max roll, you're going to see staff. Staff does crowd control damage. We want healthy enemy damage. So right here, damage to healthy enemies, 78%. This other axe right here has got it, 84%. You want that. You want to try to one-shot them as fast as possible. Healthy is above 80%. So the other stats that you want, I know they're not called buckets anymore. They're called cards or something. Everybody keeps correcting me, but you want to complement your damage areas. So you want overpower damage, or you want damage to slowed. That's really the primary one you want, is damage to slowed, because every time you hit an enemy with earth skill, you're slowing them. So you're always applying that. So you want to always use that. Okay. Critical strike with damage with earth skills. You can take willpower. It's really recommended that you have vulnerability on here. So you really want vulnerability, slow, or crowd control. Primarily slow if you can find it. Crit strike damage, and whatever else you want. But you want to make sure that it's working, it's contributing. This one right here is a little more powerful, but you see I've got redundant. I've got 61% damage to slow, and I've got 43% damage to crowd control. So that's I've kind of got a messed up stat there. So anyway, just keep in mind when you're looking for these items, always check the rolls, always check drops, and make sure they're not something amazing. But anyway, we've got the shockwave aspect on that, and 192%. I like putting that on the two-hand because it boosts that damage up real high. Yeah, so for your amulet, we're going to take your core skills. deal up to 54% increased damage based on the amount of Fortify that you have. Well, we're getting Fortify all the time, just about. So we want that damage bonus. That's an extra 54% damage. I had a kind of a mental dilemma whether to go with 34% more critical strike damage to crowd control enemies, the earth skills, that aspect, or this one. And I found that I like this one a little bit better, but that's up to your discretion. You might find you like that one a little bit better. It's up to you. Next one is duration of Grizzly Rage. So again, you can swap this back and forth if you'd rather stay in Grizzly Rage for like 10 seconds, but I just found that I'd rather have 54% damage over 10 seconds of Grizzly Rage. If you get enough cooldown and Lucky Strike and all of that going on, it'll reset for you. So we're just taking that. So this one also makes you, every time that you deal damage, it increases your critical strike chance. So you'll watch this attack power. Well, I'll just show you. We'll run one real quick. Every time we attack, 9,000, 9,000, 10,000. See, my attack power continues to go up and up and up and up and up. So you get the picture with that. It just constantly increases. I mean, we're sitting here, our base attack power is 7,400, and it ramps it up and ramps it up and ramps it up and ramps it up. So that's why we're running the aspect to keep it up a little bit longer. And then the last one we're running is Mother's Embrace. Now, everybody should have this unique. I was stupid and sold this thing. Get out of here. You get it from Lilith when she drops. Just about everybody's got it now. And this one helps with your resource. So Pulverized Druid is very, very resource reliant, and it's expensive. You need something to help you refund. And that's why you've heard people say it doesn't come alive till 70 or whatever, because you need a lot of stuff in Paragon to help you get Spirit on Kill. And then this right here, if you focus on making sure you've got a pack to hit instead of 1 or 2, 3 enemies, if there's 5 or more, you're going to get 30% refunded. It's going to allow you to cast more until you proc your lucky hit, and we'll get into that when we get into the skill tree. So that's why we're taking Mother's Embrace. It's got that lucky hit chance. It's got critical strike damage. It's got overpower damage. It's got all stats. It's really actually a pretty good ring until you can find the aspect of the Umbral, I believe it's called. Let's pull it up here in the Codex. Yeah, the Umbral. So this is the one that you really need, and this is where I messed up early in the game. Y'all, this is one of the rarest aspects that, for me, at least for my RNG, Jesus, please RNG Jesus, let this drop. But RNG Jesus, he won't let this drop for me. It's rare. I found 2 so far in the whole game since I played at the early access. The very first one I found was a perfect roll of 4. It only drops on a ring, and I was in a zombie mode and salvaged it. So this one right here, because every time we cast an earth skill, we are also applying a slow, which is a crowd control. You get restore 1 or 4. That's the roll range of your primary resource. Well, let's say you hit 20 enemies. 1 times 20 is 20 spirit. That really ain't a whole lot. But 4 times 20 refills your whole spirit globe and lets you constantly just over and over. So if you stack this up with your damage to healthy and all other kind of things, and your damage is correct, you can actually one-shot mobs and just bam, 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 just run through the whole thing, okay? Now let's look at your spirit boons. You can mess with these as you want to. It really doesn't have to be anything too crazy. You can see I haven't even, oh Lord, I've still got pack leader and stuff on here. All right, let's fix that. Okay, see, I always mess with them. Sometimes I forget to put them back, but just depends on what you need. Okay, so for this one, you're probably better off to gain 10 maximum spirit. Pick which one you need for the deer. This one here, you're going to want to take the increase to critical strike damage. That's for your eagle here. Now, I like taking 2 boons for the deer. I like this Energize. Lucky hit. Dealing damage has up to 15% chance to restore 10 spirit. And then Calamity. Extend duration of ultimate skills by 25%. So that's just going to help keep you in Grizzly Rage longer than usual. And then Obsidian Slam, every 20th kill will cause your next Earth skill to overpower. So again, 20th kill, if you insta wipe a mob of 20, your next skill is going to overpower. You can also mix this up with nature magic skills. This is actually probably the better one now that we look at it. Nature magic skills have a 10% chance to reduce the cooldown of your ultimate skill by 2 seconds. Well, guess what, y'all? Guess what's a nature magic skill? Pulverize. So always, I'm sure everybody knows, but always look under your rank and it will tell you what kind of category your skill falls under. This is nature magic, earth spikes nature magic, and earthen bulwarks nature magic. So all of those can kind of contribute to cooling down Grizzly Rage, because again, your goal is to stay in Grizzly Rage as much as possible. So play around with those as you want to. They're really not super build defining, but they can help you out, right? All right, so the skill tree, it's pretty straightforward. First one, we're going to take Earth Spike. We're going to take the middle splitter. This has 10% chance to stun. And then we're going to take the Fortify. So this one, I mean, sometimes it happens, but you're not really casting Earth Spike a whole bunch. But Fortify for 4% of your base life whenever it hits a stun, immobilize, or knockback enemy. Not doing a whole lot of that. Heart of the Wild, maximum spirit is increased. You can mess with these other ones here. I don't have very much in here because I'm relying on Lucky Hit to give me all my spirit back, but I do have 2 in the Heart of the Wild. I've got max out Pulverize, and then we're going to take the middle splitter on Pulverize, and then take Primal Pulverize. Enemies hit with Pulverize deal 20% reduced damage for 4 seconds. I just want all of those people that I'm hitting, I don't want them, if I don't kill them instantly, I don't want them able to come over here and just completely wipe my ass. You understand? The other one you can take is this one here, but I'm not seeing a ton of overpowers all the time, so I like the damage reduction. That's just personal preference. Predatory Instinct, max this out. Your goal with this build really is to get distant enemies, so you could just sacrifice and plug these 2 points elsewhere if you want to, but the way that I play, I'm kind of a not a super amazing player. They get to me, so I at least like to have that increased chance if they're close to me. It's just the way I play. Sink 3 into Iron Fur, gives you almost 10% DR. Go to Earthen Bulwark, sink 1 into Earthen Bulwark, this is your barrier. Sink 1 into the middle one, this makes you unstoppable while you have this active. And then sink the right one, cast an Earthen Bulwark, grants Fortify. Again, you want Fortify as much places as you can get it. This other one where it explodes, hadn't messed with it. If you know if it's cool, whatever, let me know. But this is the one I want. I'm not messing with Cyclone Armor or any of that stuff. This is trash to me. This is badass. It makes you unstoppable. Being unstoppable makes all the difference in the world. Where this really comes in handy is when you're out of Grizzly Rage and you got a whole bunch of mobs coming on you and they've crowd controlled you or something. You can get out of it by being unstoppable and get a barrier and kind of just wait your cooldown out or be casting or doing whatever you got to do. Debilitating Roar, this is you're going to hear me say this about 10,000 times. This is the most important werebear or any, not just werebear, druid skill, period. This right here, especially if you play in a party. Debilitating Roar grants 70% damage reduction. Okay, enemies affected by Debilitating Roar deal 70% less damage. That's not just to you, that's for the whole party. So you definitely always want to take this. I always have it. I don't care what build it is, what it is, nothing. I'm always got this. It can save your ass. You take the middle splitter. That, guess what, fortifies you again. Right now I'm taking slow with this because it applies another crowd control. So I'm just making sure that I'm guaranteed to have slow at all times. It also is kind of a lifesaver if you are, again, out of Grizzly Rage and things are starting to get a little fast. You can hit Debilitating Roar, get the damage reduction, slow them way down. You're talking about 65% slow. So that'll give you some time to kind of back up, gain your spirit back, whatever you need to do, and continue the fight. I'm sinking 3 into Nature's Reach because this deals 9% increased damage to distant enemies. So we definitely want that. We are trying to be distant, okay? You don't want Shockwave just hitting here. You want Shockwave to hit all of them, and it also pairs up with your Mother's Embrace. You want to try to get distance. You want to try to get as many monsters hit at a time. So that will gain you back spirit in the Paragon tree. You'll see that later. And it will also increase your damage based on nature's reach. All right, coming down to the Wrath area, we're taking Trample. It's another one of my favorite skills. This also grants you Unstoppable, so now you have not one, not two, but you'll see in a second, 3 ways to be unstoppable. So this is your second way. Does have a 14-second cooldown. It's not too bad, though. You can also get Lucky Hit Chance. You can pair this with a couple of different, not really a couple, but your Trample Landslide aspect, and play around with that. And I've actually found that that will actually proc your Lucky Hit a lot. So there's different things you can play around with this build, but I really like this skill. Take the Middle Splitter. It deals 150% bonus damage. It's really good if you've got a single target elite or something and you want to knock him back and stun him. You can hit him with Trample and then hit him with your other skills. And then this bottom one here, this is a choice you can make. You can grant 20 spirit when you cast it, or you can get Fortify. For this particular time, I chose spirit. This is like my emergency. I need spirit to make a cast. I hit Trample. It's only 20, but out of 168, and I need how much to cast? You need 27 to cast. So if you're like slap ass out, you can cast Trample, get 20 back, enough to cast, and then maybe get a lucky hit to where insta refill all of your spirit. And I've seen that happen a bunch of times, so that's what I rely on. Does need to have rolls on your items to proc that more often, but it is viable. Now, I sank heavily invested points into this branch of the Wrath. We're looking at Crushing Earth. Got 3 points into that. Earth skills deal 15% increased damage to slowed, stunned, immobilized, or knockback enemies. Well, we're slowing every time we're hitting. So, and then if we're using Trample, we're going to knock them back. Something to look for on your items are +2 or +3, whatever you can find. I think it's only +2 on Amulet. But if you can find +2 to Crushing Earth, wow, that's something to keep an eye on. The next one, Safeguard. I got 2 in here. Critical strikes with Earth skills fortify you for 4%. So again, you're just about critically striking all the time while you're in Grizzly Rage. So you're constantly fortifying yourself. And then down here, you've got Fortify. Over 50% of your max life, your Earth skills deal 8% increased damage. So you can, refund one here and put it in here and get 12% increased damage and whatever if you feel like you're getting a lot of Fortify. But that's just really up to you and your playstyle. So while you do have to follow some of the stuff, a little bit of it you can play around with and feel your own way out and all that good stuff. All right, now ultimate skills, obviously Grizzly Rage, take the Middle Splitter, you're unstoppable. So that's our third unstoppable here. So we've got Earthen Bulwark, we've got Trample, and we've got Grizzly Rage. So the whole duration of Grizzly Rage, you're unstoppable, which is really nice. You can actually walk through an entire mob, even though you're not supposed to do that because you're supposed to stay distant away from them, right? You can do that. Supreme Grizzly Rage is the last one we're going to take. Gain 8% base life, 302 in my case, as Fortify per second. So you're getting 302 per second as Fortify coming back. So again, Fortify everywhere you can get it. You'll always be dealing damage. It comes back to this right here. Your core skills deal up to 54% increased damage based on your amount of Fortify. Well, if your Fortify's up all the time, you're always dealing almost double damage. Well, well, whatever that is. My math, Georgia Public School, 50% damage, 54% damage. Let's just go with a number so I don't look silly. All right, so this is where stuff can get pretty interesting. Defensive posture, increase the amount of Fortify you gain from all sources. Okay, we got 2 there. We got 1 in Thick Hide. Whenever you're stunned, immobilized, or knocked down, you fortify. And we got 3 in Nature's Resolve. 15% chance to be fortified when you are struck. Okay, and Unrestrained. Reduce the duration of control apparent effects by 3%. Triple this effect while you have Fortify for over 50% of your max life. Play with that, balance that how you wish. If you have a better way to balance this, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Now, look here, Defiance, Natural Disaster, Circle of Life, and Resonance. Let's sink 1 into all of these. Defiance, nature magic skills deal 4% increased damage to elites. Nature magic skill, we're not sinking 3 in here because we're not an elite killing build. We're a trash killing build. Natural disaster, your earth skills deal 4% increased damage to vulnerable enemies. Well, you'll see in our Paragon board here in a second, every time we deal damage to something for the first time, we're making everything vulnerable. So when you hit pulverized shockwave into that entire mob, they're all vulnerable. So, they get more damage. Now you can balance this as well. You can sink more points into this as well. Over here, Circle of Life, nature magic skills that consume spirit heal you 1% of your max life. So again, pulverized, nature magic skill, it's consuming a lot of spirit. It's healing us every time we're doing it. So if you get into trouble and you need to heal, you run out of potions, but you have spirit, you can cast that and get some of that back. And the basic one, the bottom bitch back here is Resonance. Nature magic skills deal 2% increased damage. Triple this bonus if an earth skill is the next skill cast after a storm skill. So you can play with this, but we're just taking it because we want the little bit of damage increase. We're not actually going to get that triple bonus because we're not casting a storm skill. I played with this earlier as I leveled, and that's why a lot of y'all saw me using like wind chill or storm strike. That's why, because I was trying to proc this triple damage. So I would cast storm strike and then I'd cast pulverize, and I cast storm strike and I cast pulverize. And it works, but it's not viable. But it's just a point investment. Choose at your own will, choose at your own risk, whatever. Now down here, key passives, we take an Earth and Might, and this is really what makes the whole build work. Damaging enemies with Earth skills has up to a 5% chance to restore all of your spirit and cause all of your attacks to be guaranteed critical strikes for 10 seconds. Now this is on a lucky hit. Now the chance is increased by 10% for critical strikes and 10% if the target is stunned, immobilized, or knocked back. Okay, so I was playing around with, this is why I was playing around with that trample aspect I was talking about, because trample's bringing 2 of those, and it also critical strikes, so it just really gave me an extra chance with that lucky hit, and then like pretty much 25% chance to restore all of that and do all of the things it's saying here. So that's where your play time, you're playing around with different builds and stuff, different aspects can come in. But really what we're relying on is to give us all our spirit back and make all of our strikes critical. Okay, it's critical that they're critical. But you'll see when you start playing with it, it's really not that bad. As long as you've got different things, like right here on this ring, I got 6.2% lucky hit chance. I've got lucky hit chance on my gloves. So just try to stack that little extra places that you can get it. Got lucky hit chance on the Ancestral Mother's Embrace. So it's really helping out there. All right, let's look at the Paragon board. And if you hadn't seen this view like I hadn't, this red arrow that's hidden in plain sight, you can click on that bad boy and it actually expands this whole thing out for us so we can see the whole overlay of the Paragon board. Now, I highly encourage you to play with the Paragon board. This is how you get to know your toon real well. This is how you know what's doing damage and what's not and all. I highly recommend you play with it. Don't copy somebody's thing for thing, choice for choice. Do your own thing, okay? That's the way that I figured out some certain things and all, but one of the most important things starts right here in the middle of the beginning board. You really want to have this glyph right here called Exploit. When an enemy is damaged by you, they become vulnerable for 3 seconds. It only happens once every 20 seconds, but it's guaranteed vulnerability. So if you've got something in your early build that you're planning using that's going to give vulnerability all the time, like before the game came out, that's all I was thinking about. Okay, we're going to have to build to provide vulnerability, and the groups are going to have somebody that's designated to bring vulnerability. No. Use this glyph. You got it all the time. Don't worry about it. Take this first. Try to level it up a little bit so that you can get your dexterity to unlock it. Mine's, what level is mine right now? I don't even know. Level 7 or something like that. But you can unlock it. It just takes a lot of investment. It's very important. Spec this how you want. Okay, I just took the damage nodes and I walked up the tree. The second board that we're going to go to, so really the first one that you pick. Ancestral Guidance, this is the one I'm going with at least. This board right here gives you spirit on kill, overall spirit, damage, some other stuff like that, core skill damage. So I actually took this setup I'm running now at level 70. It was kind of expensive to respec a couple boards, so just keep that in mind if you're going to actually respec. Attached it, this is the layout that I had, so that Ancestral Guidance was over here on the left. So I came up, I took Reclamation, that gives you Spirit on Kill plus maximum Spirit, and an additional 8 maximum Spirit, as long as you have the requirements. Took all the magic nodes around it except for this one here, so I'll come back and plug that in a little bit later. Went over here and took Ancestral Guidance. After spending 75 Spirit, you gain 30% increased damage for 5 seconds. Just makes sense, we're spending a lot of Spirit non-stop. We're always regaining it with Mother's Embrace and lucky hits, so this is just a no-brainer to me. Coming up, come all the way up, take Spiritual Power, take the magic node, and take this other magic node. That's going to give you core skill damage. We're really not worried about basic skill damage. We want core skill damage. So this one's 28% plus another 14 if you meet all the requirements, which we do with this different build that we've got on the Paragon board. So take this one, take these 3, come down, take Natural Attunement, 16 maximum spirit, 4% max life, another 8 max spirit if the requirements are met, which they are. Come on over to the glyph socket. The one we're using here is Undaunted. Okay, so the way that we figure out what glyph we want to use in a socket is we look around the base socket. We say, okay, we've got 1, 2, because just about everything is going to require at least 25. Sometimes willpower stuff is 40, but let's say 25 dexterity or 25 intelligence. Okay, well, this particular glyph socket, let's see what we've got around. Well, we've got 1, 2, so 5, 10, 15, 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. So 25, 26. We got 27 intelligence, so we can pick an intelligence glyph to go in here. So, like, we could put Protector, you see, right above my head there. Intelligence. We've also got, let's see, willpower. We've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. We could put a willpower in here as long as it's not a 40. We could also probably do dexterity. 5, 7. See, actually, we can't do dexterity. So if you tried to put one in here that was dexterity, unless the range was increased, you wouldn't be able to do it. So that's just the way that you pick. And the way that I narrowed that down, of course, this one here, it's going to pair with everything. Gain 10% damage reduction the more fortify you have, and gain 10% damage while fortified. Well, again, we're always fortified, so why not? Take that enough to open the glyph and get the bonus that you need, and then we're taking Harmony. We're taking all of the rare nodes around it, or magic nodes, excuse me. Intelligence, core skill damage, this magic node right here, which allows you to open everything. And again, the core skill damage here. If you don't want this intelligence, you can take it and put it somewhere else. You can put it up here to resist all, but it's supposed to give you resist all as intelligence as a druid. All right, the next board we're going to look at is Earthen Devastation. That's the one that I have, at least. It's the one you can take if you want to. But we've got it rotated so that this is in the center here. And we just pathed up. The first ones that I started taking were these magic nodes around Oppress. 30% damage to crowd control enemies. Again, beating a dead horse here, but every enemy you hit with Earth skills is automatically slowed, so that's 30% more damage to those enemies. It also gets you 15% critical strike damage to those same said enemies. And then each one of these is either damage to crowd control or it's critical strike damage to crowd control. So we stacked all of these. We came over, we took Resolve, just gives us more boost. And we took our glyph. Now the glyph we're putting in here is Earth and Sky. Grants 66 bonus to all magic nodes. Grants nature magic skills deal 10% increased damage to crowd controlled or vulnerable enemies. Well, we're always crowd controlling and they're always vulnerable. So we took this. It also gives us 5% critical strike damage with earth skills. So, no brainer. Come down, take Earth and Power. 30% critical strike damage with earth skills, plus 10 willpower. Take this magic node. Now, you can come over here. You see, I've been playing around. Make sure that you take all of these critical strike damage with earth skills. You want to try to take as much of this as you can find. See, I went down and I stopped, and I come up and I took these. So wherever you've got extra stuff that you can move around, you want to make sure that you always have these activated. So my next one that I get will go right here. Or I could come over here and rob from somewhere else, even though I really don't have an extra place to get it. But you get the picture. But this is what I'm working with currently. It does really good damage. It gets good spirit back. You saw in the beginning that it handles everything pretty well. My main thing for y'all is focus on making sure this is right, because this right here makes or breaks your build. It's not really your aspects. It's not really all that. Like, yeah, that makes the build come together, but what makes you deal the really good amounts of damage and be tanky or whatever you're seeing is based on the Paragon board. And it looks like it's a lot, but they give you some good tools to preview. You know, you can come over and, you know, we can just preview the bore, but it also lets you see what rare nodes are on there, which you're not going to be able to see on these websites. This is a lot easier to me to plan out in the game. And this is how I found out there's spirit on kill and all. I was like, oh wow, look, there's spirit on kill, there's spirit on kill. So anyway, do me a favor, join our Discord. Links in the description below for the House of Hog. We ain't mild, we wild. We got build guides, we got communities. If you're looking for a group, I know it's really hard to find people to play with on this game, but if you get in the Discord, you won't have a problem. We got a big community. We got build guides and information. We got really knowledgeable players. We've got, you know, social space to hang out with. We've also got our PvP league area. We're getting that going, kind of starting the base foundations of it. So if you are interested in joining a PvP league, kind of a friendly competition type deal, you can do so in the Discord. So anyway, hit like and subscribe for more hog content. Big shout out to our sponsor, MMOEXP.com, for sponsoring this video. Visit MMOEXP.com for a good release. Thank you very much to them. And again, hit like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.